What's up everybody, Karimi here, and today I'm going to be doing a preview for Cloudbase Prime. This preview has been brought to you by KeenGamer.com, the best place to check out your news, reviews, articles, and so much more. So without further ado, this game is still in early access, so it's not completely finished yet, but we will review the best parts and some parts that aren't necessarily good. Now let's get to the preview, shall we? Let's talk about the story of the game. Now, the story wasn't really clear for me from beginning to end. It was kind of a mixed bag, and I didn't really expect for there to be kind of a serious storyline when playing this game. But essentially, you play as this kind of robot miner who gets a new job at this giant gas mining platform when all of a sudden things go wrong. And that's pretty much the basis of the story, is things go wrong and it's your job to fix it. And that's practically it. Moving on to gameplay. Cloudbase Prime is a first-person platforming game. You have a unique mechanic in the game where on your right hand you can control platforms whether you want them to go up or you want them to go down. And which is unique because some enemies can be on platforms and then you can make them go up and then they'll fly in the air, or you can make them go down. It's actually pretty fun. Once you throw an enemy in the air and kill him, you actually get fuel points to be able to use your special abilities. One special ability throws this huge blue line in front of you that raises each platform everywhere that line follows, and then the other ability is like this cluster grenade that when you throw it, it takes a little bit and then explodes. These are useful in situations that are very tight and that there are a lot of enemies. I didn't usually find myself using this a lot, but it was a fun little thing that was added into the game as well as its basic combat. One thing I would like to address is the mission structure in Cloudbase Prime. There are a couple worlds with missions on them and a boss at the end. But the missions in this game are kind of weird. There are three main types you'll be playing throughout the entire game, which is collecting fixed bots, which is practically just a scavenger hunt, and you have to find them. And it's marked in the levels where you can find them, so it's pretty easy, it's not that hard. There's one that's survival, which is there's just a time limit and then you have to survive until the end. And then the other is like this tower defense. Oh boy, I definitely did not like that one. You had to wait for these things to get to this certain area and you had to protect them. Basic stuff. But entirely throughout the game, you'll be doing the collection of the fixed spots more, because that's just the main mission type that they stuck with. My favorite part about Cloudbase Prime were the boss battles by far. I thought these were very interesting, they were a lot of fun, and they were challenging. If this game was solely based on boss battles, I think this would be a much better game, because there was just so much variety. You had to plan and strategize. Though they wouldn't take too long to defeat, I still had a fun time playing them. Everything from here sounded pretty positive, right? Well, unfortunately in this game, when you unlock a new world, you actually unlocked every mission in it too. Which is strange, because why would I have access to all the missions already? Because I like completing a mission and then unlocking the next one, not having everything already unlocked, because when you unlock a new world, you can do the boss battle right away instead of having to do all the other missions. Which is kind of weird, because I would prefer that I unlock them. It makes me feel more satisfied that way, but just having everything unlocked from the get-go is kind of weird. Last but not least, in the gameplay department, I want to talk about the game's core combat, which is literally just shooting out of your left palm of your hand this little yellow orb, these yellow dots, I don't know what you want to call them, yellow balls. And that's literally what you do this entire game, is you just jump from platforms and you shoot these small little balls, and it's honestly so boring. Like later in the game, for the first 10 minutes of the game, I was like, you know what, this is actually pretty fun. And then after a while, I was just like, wait, this is what we do the entire game? this is crazy. It was just so boring and dull. You feel so pathetic just shooting these little yellow balls. It just had no impact, and it didn't make me want to keep playing. And this game just gets so repetitive in the fact that that's practically all you do in the entire game is just shoot enemies with these small balls, collect big spots, and just jump in the air and float in the air. And to me, that's not fun. That's repetitive. And maybe to someone who likes casual games like this would appreciate it more. But for me, I felt like I was kind of wasting my time playing this. Moving on to graphics. Now, if there's one thing I will admit, despite my negative output on its combat, is that the graphics are really good. It's really detailed, it's got this kind of cartoon look, each level has a different look to it, which is always nice, and each world has its own theme. I really appreciated this, and it really stood out, and it made this game feel like a finished game despite being in early access. This game does really feel like it's really finished, and I appreciated the graphics is what I want to say. I appreciated it, and I thought it was well done. Last but not least, I want to talk about the sound, and in particular I want to talk about the acting and the music. So we'll start with the acting. The acting is not bad, it's pretty silly. This game, you'll not be taking it seriously at all in terms of its acting. I really thought that the fixed spots in the game are these tiny little computer screen smiley faces. They were cute, but after a while they started to get on my nerves, and they were actually kind of annoying towards the middle of the game, because sometimes they would repeat lines, and then sometimes their lines were a little too long, so I didn't want to keep on hearing them, so that got kind of annoying.
Hey buddy, we can make fire.
That's nice.
Don't worry, we're just using nanites to vibrate the molecules in old fuel cells until they spontaneously combust.
Oh, well, great job, guys.
But the music, it was pretty good. I really enjoyed the music. I think it was an original score, and it actually does sound pretty good. But even the music, I had to turn it down later in the game because it started to become repetitive and kind of annoying. In conclusion, Cloudbase Prime is a decent first-person platforming game, and while I think it's repetitive, dull, and has literally no fun factor in my opinion, some person might really like this a lot because it's just a casual game. It's not meant to be taken so seriously, but you know, the graphics are great and the sound can be fun at times with the acting and the music, but it just was not a good taste in my mouth, this game. Just in total, I really just didn't like the game at all. Only the boss battles were fun for me, to be completely honest. But it should be known that this game is still in early access, which means it's still not finished yet, so there's a lot of things to still be added in. And with that, this has been from KeenGamer.com. My name is Keon Karimi, and I will see you guys next time.